Sometimes his anal glands get bad. So he has like fishy, oily booty. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
it's normally worse with
there.
little dogs, but it's that fishy booty smell, and like I'll normally express them myself at the dog wash, but it's like pretty gnarly because you either squeeze the butthole like it's baby cheeks, or you have to actually put your finger in there and you can feel the sack, and you have to squeeze it and let the oil come out.
Kyla,
What? You can't park here.
tell me about your camping trip.
Yeah, so we did an impromptu camping trip at Davidson River Campground. Saturday night, we went and watched the UFC fights over at a friend's house, and they were pretty good if anyone's into that. I don't know what the crossover is for van lifers and people that watch the UFC, but Patty the Batty fought and he won. It was pretty good. It was a
What
pretty
is the
brutal fight.
UFC?
Oh, it's like ultimate fighting. Like it's like MMA. It's like the
Oh,
biggest. It's like the biggest mixed martial arts like fighting.
oh, so it's like real. It's not like WWF. Like,
No, these people are trained in like Brazilian jiu-jitsu. They're trained in like grappling, like all kinds of stuff, like judo. So they're legitimate mixed martial arts fighters.
okay,
And like back in the 90s, there used to be no weight class. It was just like backyard brawl style cage fighting type deal. Now there's weight classes and it's a lot more regulated, but yeah, it's pretty intense. Like, yeah, it
is
was
there
really
blood?
yeah, the Patty fight, there was a lot of blood.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was
Is
good.
it? Do they show it on TV, or do you have to go somewhere like
N-
special to watch a match?
no, you have to do pay-per-view and it's like $80, so we just borrow it.
Okay.
Sorry, Dana White, you suck anyways. Dana White is like the face of the organization. UFC is like, you have like Bellator, there's like a few different organizations, but UFC is like the big, like Joe Rogan's one of the announcers. It's like pretty broed out.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But Joe
Okay.
Rogan actually has like a massive fight IQ. Like he's actually super technical and intelligent when it comes to like announcing fights and stuff. But
Is that where he got started?
kind of. So he did taekwondo and like martial arts when he was younger, but he was always really into comedy. He was actually a stand-up comic, and he was even on like some TV show back in the day that didn't really take off. And he got well known and really made his money when he did Fear Factor. That's how a lot of people know him.
Okay.
But during all of that time, he was also still really into MMA, and they were like, yeah, like you should come and do announcing. And then he just grew with the UFC. So yeah, he basically was just a part of certain things at the right place at the right time. And then of course his podcast is massive.
Yeah.
I'm not like
That's the only way that I recognize him. Like, I
oh
didn't know he did anything else.
oh yeah.
I'm not in the loop.
It's all good. I mean, if it's I didn't think that UFC was your vibe, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, lately, I'm I don't know. I'm finding, less of an aversion to violence,
Yeah, there you go.
much less. So,
There you go.
yeah,
Well, there's a lot of female fighters in the UFC. They're really intense.
okay,
They're scary. They're
okay,
really scary.
I like that. I'm glad you had a good time though.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So yeah, we were just gonna go hiking or something, and we went to Brevard, North Carolina. And like part of the Pisgah National Forest is like 500,000 acres or something crazy. But we went to like the Davidson River area on Sunday, and we were like, yeah, let's just see if there's any campsites open. And then there were, so we were like, screw it, we're just gonna go camping. So it was really nice.
You're making me miss like that side of the country,
Yeah.
the trees and the lushness and like all the green. Like, I'm kind of in this area for a hot minute until I figure out what's going on with the truck I bought. And
Mm-hmm.
then I've been in this, in Arizona for pretty much an entire year,
Yeah,
which
you've
is
been
not
there
my
for a
style.
while.
Yeah. I mean, I've moved around it. I've definitely explored it and had a good time. I'm not complaining, but my everything in my heart is like go to Idaho and do a hot spring. And I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, not until I figure this truck out. What am I
Yeah.
gonna do? So I'm just getting there. I'm just like, okay, um, no inquiries on the truck. None.
Dude, that
No.
sucks.
And I'm like, I paid for the ad on Craigslist.
Okay.
I'm wondering if I need to promote it on Facebook.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Sometimes a lot of the car guys will do paid Facebook ads,
Yeah.
but I don't know how long to run it for. Like, don't waste too much money on
No, I won't.
ads.
I won't spend more than $10. But like the thing is like it's insured right now and it's in storage, so like it's costing me money right now.
Yeah, it's just sitting there costing money. Well, what's fascinating is because of the tariffs, people are already panic buying cars.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, like during the lockdown last time with the chip shortage, used cars were really holding their value and people were like flocking to buy used cars. So I'm wondering if something similar is going to happen with this whole tariff situation.
I guess I don't know. I would think that I don't know. I just feel like people there's always a market for used cars, especially trucks that are in pretty good
Yeah.
condition. So I thought I would get, but also, they were advertising it in the same area too.
Yeah.
That might be part of the
That
problem.
Yeah, if people are sitting there watching it pretty heavily and they're like, "Wait, why is this back up here?"
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I probably put it at a little bit more of a price tag than they did because they were trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, that's okay. I'll bring down the price and I'll list it elsewhere and then I'll go on a little weird journey. I don't know. But yeah, it's just a thing. Maybe I'll just buy land and then use the truck for my own fun. I don't know.
That's the spirit.
Not after the phone I just got and the microphone and everything else that I.
Oh yeah, what phone did you end up upgrading to?
So I'm not going to get like the 16. I'm happy with the iPhone 12, but I wanted the better camera, and so the next one that has the better camera is the 14, and it had to be a Pro Max if you want the better camera, and I also
Mm-hmm.
wanted a lot of space on it, and so I was able to get a tetrabyte, and that it was only like $40 more to get twice the gigs of 500. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
$40 more to get twice the gigs versus 512. I was like, no, I'll just go with it's worth it to me.
Wait,
Um,
what's a tetrabyte?
a tetrabyte is, am I saying that right? No, I don't know.
Terabyte?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cuz I was like, "Wait, what is this new technology?"
Oh,
I
it's a
thought there
terabyte.
was like a new I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I don't know. My brain,
Well,
it is.
I don't mess with iPhone anymore, so I was like, I don't know what iPhone's doing over there.
Yeah, right. So it's a terabyte. You're right.
Okay,
And
that's pretty solid for a
that's pretty
phone.
solid. Like it's taken me over a year and a half, a year and 3 months to fill up the iPhone 12 that I have. And that
Okay.
was it was a Pro Max, so it's 512 gigabytes. So this one has double that now. And I feel like then I won't ever have to worry. I mean, I have hard drives externally and I can always get more, but like,
Yeah.
no, like for at least a year, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I like that. So cool. But it cost me, about $800.
That's not bad. I mean,
I mean,
that's the
I got a
going rate.
refurbished one.
Yeah, that's the going
So we'll
rate for
see.
cell phones now, guys.
Yep.
Everyone that's like, just get a flip phone. Like when most normal people, if you just scroll and you're not filming or doing content, you don't need.
You can get a $50 phone. It'll do everything you need
Yeah.
it to do.
But we film our YouTubes. I'm using my phone to film the podcast. Like I use I have a laptop, but I'm using the camera of my phone. I
Yep.
edit on my phone a lot of the time
Yep.
for like short form. Like we're using it to make money. So I feel like
And I can't have this small screen, so I have to pay for the bigger screen. So
Yeah.
it's all these little details, but like the space, the camera, the screen
Yeah.
size, Yeah, we're using it for all intents and purposes. We are making the most of our iPhones and our cell phones, so it just makes sense to invest the money in it and know that we have a phone for the long run. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. So I'm gonna have to change my phone over when that all happens. So it'll be a process.
I hate doing that.
Me
That's my
too.
least favorite thing is when you get a new phone and have to switch everything over.
I know, but hang in there because it's gonna be crazy. But I'm pretty good with my accounts and stuff. So like it should be a pretty smooth transition.
Well, and you're doing iPhone to iPhone. The worst was when I did iPhone to Samsung. That was
you lost everything.
Did I? Oh, I had already offloaded a bunch of stuff onto external hard drives. So I was like, I had all the important stuff that I cared about saved.
Okay.
So it wasn't too traumatic, but it's just one of those annoying things that I hate to deal with.
It is definitely annoying, that's for sure. I have like birds and trucks all around me, so
the birds are nice.
Can you hear the birds?
A little bit every now and then. It's very relaxing and it's very yeah, it's nice. You have your plants and the birds. It's very peaceful.
All right. Yeah. The trucks aren't though. There's a lot of traffic and I just wanted to make sure you can't hear that.
There's like turkeys out here. There's construction out by me. I'm like, whatever.
Turkey attack. How did Gunner handle that?
He was exhausted from the camping trip. So I don't really think he cared. He was eating his food and then he was just looking out the window. He didn't bark or anything. I think he was just like, I'm too tired to deal with these things.
Right.
But they were very loud, and I was like trying to sleep in. Well, first of all, Andrew had to get to work super early. So we get here before the sun's up. There's lawn people out here. And I'm like, there's not even a lawn to care for. Like, it's all new sod. Like, why are you out here? So then there's lawn people. And I'm like, dude, I just want to sleep. Then I finally get to sleep. And these 2 giant turkeys are outside of my van gobbling. And I'm like, I opened my window and was like, shut up. Enough.
Yeah, they're bad. They're loud. They are loud.
I don't know who they're looking for. They're not going to find it here. It was 2 male turkeys. And I'm like, there's no female turkeys here. Please leave. Thank you.
Gay turkeys.
Maybe, but that's fine. Just do it quietly. Whatever you're doing, just don't do it near me.
Earplugs?
Yeah, but I don't like them because
they hurt, right?
Not even that. I am a side sleeper, so they do hurt. But I still need to listen to something when I'm sleeping a lot of the time. I can't be in total silence because then the voices in my head start talking. Yeah, and then I have all of my thoughts.
Oh God, no, make them stop. I hate them. Oh, they never stop either. They're just like, hey, remember what you did when you were 10 years old?
Exactly. It's too, exactly. It's,
yeah, we're over that now, aren't we? No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Over it now. Please. We're going to bring it all back, baby.
Yeah.
Or dreams. And you're like, in the bed. Not fun. I know. ASMR, man. ASMR.
It's even worse. Like, I'll be like, I got so much done today. And then I'll start to fall asleep. And it's like, you know that this is a waste of your time. Everything you're doing is failing. Why are you even bothering doing any of this? And I'm like, can we not do this right now? I'm very tired. Can we do this later?
Yep. Yeah, I get the your parents don't love you. They're never going to love you. And I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
I already know that.
I already know this. Why are we going over things we already know?
I know. Yeah. Stop.
Please.
Yeah. I'm over that. I healed from that.
Yeah.
The brain is like, no, you didn't. There's this little molecule over here that just, doesn't want to grasp. So I don't know. I don't know if I need to like bang my head up against a wall or like get electric shock therapy, but like,
there you go.
Up now. Yeah. I had a friend who tried that.
What? Electroshock therapy?
Mm-hmm. And she was like on a bunch of antidepressants for a long time. She struggled with an ED. Like, she's really sweet and wonderful human being, like amazing. But she struggled with it for a long time. Her mother was, narcissistic and everything too. And she was at her wit's end. She's like, I don't know how to start feeling better. And so they offered her shock therapy. And like, didn't even know if it was working, because when someone's been depressed for that long, you don't know what it feels like to be normal. Like, you don't
Right.
even know how to recognize it. And so she would
Right.
come back from these things and be like shook up, literally, and be like, huh. But like, she wasn't worrying about things as much. Like, there were some differences, but like, it definitely, she didn't know.
It wasn't happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's like some old lobotomy type stuff. I no,
That's kind of scary. I don't know if I would do all that, man.
no.
Even I feel like my depression and anxiety is partially situational, partially just like more trauma from my upbringing.
Yeah.
And I, as an adult, have never been on any medication for it. I don't really want to be. And I'm not anti meds if you need meds. Like, I know that, like, it's a heavy, heavy work to like heal. And a lot of us don't have the convenience of like naturally healing because we have to wake up and go to work and be functional and not have a nervous breakdown every day. So I understand that a lot of us have to take pharmaceuticals just so we can wake up and get through the day, especially if you're already a parent and you have other people that rely on you. Like, kudos to you for like just getting it done because, like, obviously my mom didn't. Look how that turned out. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to take things that I feel like would just, when I've been on antidepressants and mood stabilizers in the past, I didn't feel like it fixed anything. It just felt like I was sedated. So I didn't really feel, for me personally, I was just like, I don't like this feeling. I would rather just like feel everything. But I also understand if like you have like really severe mood disorders or like really severe BPD where you're like off the rails, like hurting yourself, like obviously it's like we got to get this under control. But for me personally, when I was a teenager, like I was on Abilify, Zoloft. My mom tried to put me on lithium, dude. And I can't believe a doctor allowed, this is like how screwed up it is when you're a child and your parent is the one projecting their mental illness onto you. And there will always be a doctor that's like just as messed up as they are.
And
So
they are too lazy to do the research before putting you on something like that. Yeah.
no, my mom knew. My mom had an ex whose mom was on lithium and she was like having seizures and like it causes permanent brain damage. My mom was,
Yeah.
yeah, my mom intentionally did that stuff to me as like a punishment. Like she, like if I acted out or went against her, she'd like, basically she was like, yeah, I'm just going to like drug you up now. And like,
Kyla's mom, if you're listening, we know what you did. And
ah,
everyone else is going to know now too.
yeah,
My mom's up next, so stay
yeah.
tuned.
We'll have to do a parents episode, but like, yeah, it was just
My mom,
partially she's, has her own stuff going on and then some of it was just like
that's what
evil.
it is. Like, we get
Evil.
it.
I don't know.
We get that our parents are unhealed and have their own thing, but there's also this measure of like they don't want to learn anymore. And I don't know if that's Alzheimer's or dementia, but like I don't I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah,
You have to make a conscious choice.
it doesn't make it
And if you're
right.
able to drive and cook for yourself and pay the bills still, then you need to start making better choices for your children, for yourself, and for the rest of the world.
Well, here's the way I look at it. Um at least she has my little brother because if it's up to me, she is going in a 1-star nursing home. Like, that's just like the one. If any of you have like really messed up
I'm not
parents,
paying for no nursing
yeah,
home. They're on their
no,
own.
no, if any of you have really messed up parents, just think about it like this, okay? You can put
We're
them in
probably
a,
gonna get some hate for
you
this if we
can
put this up.
you can put them in a 1-star nursing home. Because aren't they trying to make some law where you legally have to take care of your parents now? I saw that, yeah,
I'm
they,
going to jail.
well,
You can
yeah, but
take care of me in jail. I'll have a blast. I'll have a blast. Are you kidding?
no, the
We'll start a
1-star nursing
podcast
home.
in the jail cell. It'll be great.
No, we'll do a whole YouTube review about, we'll go to different 1-star nursing homes around the country and we're like, if you're in this region, definitely send your parents here.
Okay, I'm down. I love it.
I don't know. It's just something to, whenever you get sad, just remember you can always send your parents to a 1-star nursing home. Don't forget that.
I love it. How's that audio sounding?
Good.
Okay. Good, because I was really like, it's loud. Like there's loud trucks here. I'm going to be speaking for it, but
I don't really hear any
excellent.
trucks. I hear a bird every now and then, but it's very pleasant.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
It's very
It adds
good.
the nature vibe.
It really
No one
does.
will ever know that I'm sitting at a gas station. I thought I was going to go to the park, but I was like, well, maybe I'll find some place on the way, because the park is like, it's a good 40 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes. And I'm like, oh man, the drive, I don't want to give away my location, but there's a lot of roundabouts in my area. And so the drive from here to the next place that has better service is like it feels like every mile there's a roundabout. And girl, when you're in a big ass van, trying to go around the roundabout, like, oh, you have to slow down. It's hard on your brakes.
Everything's sliding around.
Yeah, everything. The dog, poor Sparrow's on the bed rolling over. Like, I look back in the rearview mirror and his legs are up like this, going, and he's just like, what the hell's happening, Mom? He's poor thing. He gets so scared.
God.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. He's like, you're talking about me now.
Since you say hi. Don't like that, Mom.
Okay. All right. Never mind.
Come hang out. I have to get some treats for him. We got these lamb liver treats.
There you go.
Let me tell you, this brand. I should make a post about this. It's 3.33 ounces and it's like almost $10.
Mm-hmm.
A few months ago, this was, well, it was probably a little bit more than a few months ago, but the same brand, same bag, same stuff, same ingredients, twice the size, even more than twice the size, same price.
Oh, they shrinkflationed you.
So sick of that. Can you say, oh, say hello? Nothing. Speak.
There you go. Boy. Yeah, they don't want to podcast.
No, they don't like being on film.
Let's get into this. We are doing part 2 of all of your favorite subject matter. Van life pets, the dogs.
Van life dogs and van life pets. We're specifically talking about dogs this week in episode, what is this, 5, 6? I don't know.
I think it's 6. Who can keep up?
We don't have a lot of experience with van life cats or van life lizards or van life birds.
No.
So, but we're going to talk, these things can, they kind of go all encompassing.
There's crossover.
And in our last episode, we talked about safety and health concerns, because that's number one. Everyone's always asking us, oh my God, do you leave your dog in the van when it's hot?
Yes. No. I leave my dog in an 80-degree van for 6 hours with the windows up all the way.
And we never take them to the vet. Ever.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Vaccinated. They literally, we just like put on a little pipe cleaner halo over them and hope the best. That's it. That's all we do. We pray. We pray.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. No, of course we take care of our dogs. If you're interested in learning how much we sacrifice and take care of our dogs, you're welcome to go listen to
the other one.
But in this one, we're going to talk about travel and logistics and how that works out when you're moving in the van, down the road with the dog, and what it means to go to a campsite and what it means to like obey the rules at BLM land and other places when you're in public. So we can get into that. The first one on that list. Do you want to go ahead?
Well, crossing borders or state lines with vaccination rules. I don't have a lot of experience with this because Andrew and I aren't really nomadic in van life, and we've never taken our van out of the country. But I did see this really scary story before I ever did van life. I used to follow this RV couple, and they got stopped at the Canadian border. They went from Mexico through California up to Canada, and then they were going to go to Alaska. Like, they did this insane continental tour. And when they went to Canada, they got pulled over, and the Mounties took the dog and had it in a kennel in the hot asphalt in the sun for hours and wouldn't give it water. And they were like interrogating them. And Andrew actually used to live in Canada, and then he left. And when he tried to come back, they wouldn't let him back in. And then his ex-wife was on the other side, like crying. And they were like, "You have 1 week to get out of here." So the Canadian border can be kind of terrifying, honestly.
Ah.
Yeah.
So I have a little experience with crossing the border. I've done it with my last dog in Mexico once, not for long. And there is like vaccinations you need, but it's just it's just rabies, and I can't remember. There's another one.
Parvo. There's rabies, parvo.
Yeah, kennel cough or something maybe.
Yeah, that might be parvo.
But there's just parvo. But there's another one. I feel like there's another one, and unfortunately, like I should have done my research, but I can't remember.
It's the base. It's all the basic ones, though.
You can find it online. Like that information is everywhere. You can talk to customs. You can talk to border patrol, whether in Mexico or in America. But there are some countries, if you're traveling way out of the country, that you're going to need to quarantine your dog. And fortunately, Canada and Mexico on our borders are not one of those countries. So you do need to have the correct paperwork. You can look that up online or ask ChatGPT or whatever. I should probably have had that with me, but I don't have it.
Well, you can put it in the description.
Okay. Yeah. We'll leave you guys a link in the description. Sorry, I was unprepared. Crossing state lines is not an issue. They don't really care. If you're going to bring like your horses, that would be a different thing. You'd need like Coggins and all kinds of tests. It's very expensive. I knew somebody wanted to travel with horses, and I was like, "Are you out of your mind?
It's expensive.
Unless you're a millionaire, don't
do that.
It's very expensive.
What about those people that travel across the country on horseback, and you have to stop every state, and
you still have to get the test, and you have to find a new ferry.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Yeah. I mean, it's awesome that they can do that, but remember that you need resources for that kind of thing.
Don't be poor.
With a dog or a pet or a cat, it's nothing. It's just like bringing your kids over a border is not that big of a deal. I think if you were like transporting rescue dogs or something like that, and you had a lot of them, it would be a different story. Because in California, there are agriculture laws. Like you can't bring in so many animals that are like cattle or any kind of herd animal like that unless you have the proper paperwork.
Right.
But for dogs and cats, you can bring your pets. It's really not too intimidating crossing the border, but make sure they have their shots. Make sure you have vet information.
The proper paperwork.
Yeah. And look up before you leave your home area, if you're going to like do this newbie van life thing and you've never done it with an animal before, make sure along your route, you're aware of where the vets are. I know that's more of like a health concern thing, but like it's definitely part of the travel and logistics.
Yeah.
When you get to an area that you know you're going to be in for a while, like maybe take the time to find out where the emergency vet is just in case, because all kinds of things can happen when you travel with your pets. And it's just to get to know where they are.
I don't want to backtrack, but I don't know if I mentioned this last time. There are mobile vet clinics in various cities. We have them in Florida. We have them here. And so it's not like a full-on vet visit. Like you wouldn't go for an emergency. You wouldn't go for like some weird sickness. But you go and you can just get the standard vaccines. You can get flea, tick, heartworm. And those mobile vet clinics vary from city to city, but they'll show up in like a parking lot at a grocery store once a month or the first Tuesday of whatever. And they're affordable. It's in and out. It's super easy. So there's really no excuse for not getting.
If you find like a community center or even a library, sometimes they know about those types of things.
Yeah.
You can also call like a local vet and
Tractor Supply has a clinic.
That's a good. Yep. Tractor Supply will definitely know. They are pretty pet friendly. A lot of them have. It's another thing that we don't really have on this list.
Where is
Tractor Supply, and sometimes it's Tractor Supply. Is usually has a pet wash. Some cities don't have them, but it's like a do your own. You pay a flat fee. It was like $10 to $15.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they have the shampoo. Sometimes they have all the things you need, like even the flea stick dip.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll supply that for you. You just pay the flat fee, and then you go use a sink, and it's got like a hand sprayer and a little place to leash up your dog and everything. And
towels.
it can be a really great experience for the dog. If you don't have one, I've had to do this when Mr. Sparrow got skunked.
Oh, geez.
What did you do? I'm kidding. It's okay.
He's like, I
It's
swear
okay.
I didn't. It
Oh
was
no,
an
I just did
accident.
it. He got skunked twice in 1 week.
Oh, dude.
And the first time I tried to clean him up with all the water I had at camp
Mhm.
and vinegar and baking soda, and that it worked, but honestly the best thing was rubbing dirt on his fur
Mhm.
repeatedly over and over and letting him lie in like a fresh dirt pile and roll it off. That absorbs the oils. But what I ended up doing was bringing him to a car wash. One of my followers actually said, like, look, if you don't have a dog wash in the area, you can go to a car wash. And I was like, that's genius.
Like the
Why didn't you
self-service
think of
ones,
that?
obviously.
And
Don't.
it's what, $6 tops and quarters that you're going to need. And like, you just bring a bucket, mix your solution, peroxide, baking soda, and Dawn.
Yeah.
And a little bit in the bucket and fill it up with water and scrub him down and then rinse him off. And you've got a skunk-free dog for less than for freight or Tractor Supply.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never bathed Gunner at a car wash yet, but I'm sure the time will come sometimes.
You do bathe it quite a bit at Tractor Supply, though, right?
I used to do it at Tractor Supply, but the one near us that had a dog wash was like an hour away, so we got sick of doing that. So I found a local pet store, and they have a self-service, and you can even schedule to rent out the whole dog wash area because Gunner doesn't like other dogs. And they have ear cleaning stuff. They have gentle dryers because he's scared of the dryer. They have like the actual like ramp with like the door to like lock him into the dog washing basin. They have towels, all different kinds of shampoos, hypoallergenic. It's pretty fancy. It's like $20, so, but like it's kind of worth it because he's a very large animal to try and wash anywhere else.
And man, listen, they're going to get skunked. It's going to happen. They're going to roll in something.
Yeah.
And as much as you can carry those pet wipes, but there are some things that, like, if they roll in a dead carcass, like, there's nothing you can do to get that smell out. You have to bring them to
dude.
You really do.
Well,
that spray thing that I have, that
oh yeah,
thing, that does a really great job with rinsing them off or whatever. But when it comes down to like lathering him up, you got to take him either to the car wash or to
when it's bad. When bad things happen to good dogs. Yep. And when bad things happen to good dogs.
Has Gunner ever gotten skunked?
Luckily, no, but
good.
What? I feel like something really gross. Sometimes his anal glands get bad. So he has like fishy, oily booty. Yeah, it's normally worse with little dogs, but it's that fishy booty smell. And like I'll normally express them myself at the dog wash, but it's like pretty gnarly because you either squeeze the bowl like it's baby cheeks, or you have to actually put your finger in there and you can feel the sac and you have to squeeze it and let the oil come out.
Kyla.
What?
I don't need a lesson in this, but I'm glad everyone else is enjoying this. Is everyone enjoying this?
If your dog has that stinky, fishy booty smell and it's always wiping its butt on the carpet, it needs its anal glands expressed. And if you don't want to do it, you have to pay the vet to do it because it's painful to them too, actually.
How much is the vet to do it?
I don't know. That's why I do it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. If my dog had that issue, I'd probably learn how to do it.
But it's not
guys. Yeah. Kyla's the authority if you ever need to learn how to express your dog's anal glands.
The little dogs are worse, though. It'll shoot across the room. The little dogs are insane.
What?
The little dogs have worse.
Is this for real?
Yes.
Why am I only just learning about this?
Have you ever had little dogs?
I have had a min pin, but it was very short-lived.
Okay. Well, the little dogs are way worse with their anal glands because the big dogs, it's like normally they take good solid poops and they just have a bigger bowl. So I feel like there's less confined pressure for the anal gland sacs. It's like these sacs that are in their bowl, dude. And it's like this gross oil. I'm like, I don't even know why y'all have this, but you have it and I don't like it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad that humans don't have that problem.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, people
How
do
would you even know? So if that's the symptom, if they're dragging their butt across the floor
not
like
just
it's
the dragging the butt, it's the smell, man. Like if they're constantly licking back there and it has that like fishy, it's like that fishy, stanky, and you can even see like oil spots on their blankets or like on your bed if you let them on your bed or furniture. If they get off your bed and your bed smells like dirty, like OF girl doing like a booty scene,
hey,
we'll, we'll mute it out. But like, yeah, you'll know. You'll know the smell.
oh, yeah, nope, okay. Writing that down. Don't get a little dog. Hey,
Yeah.
that's something to know about, though. I'm glad now I'm gonna have nightmares about if I adopt another dog.
Well, I
About,
also think this is important to logistically, we're in a very confined space, so smells are going to be stronger. So
yes,
I feel like I always wipe Gunner's butt after he poops. Always. So that there's no skid marks. He will get this blanket is at the foot of our bed because he will skid mark it up. Because when we're driving, he braces his butt up against here while we're driving. So there's been some Bob Ross style art pieces. But because he's a big dog, so his poop is like the size of a regular human's. So I have to wipe his butt. I would strongly recommend wiping your dog's butt if you're going to be in an RV or a van because the smells are going to be stronger.
I also suggest you get a lot more comfortable with being dirty if you have a pet in the van. It's going to happen if you're anal retentive about cleanliness. It's going to be really difficult. Like, you're not going to want to let your cats or dogs outside without there being a mat there. You can get a mat, that'll prevent a lot of dirt from coming in, but not all of it.
It's not
Maybe
going to
like,
be.
yeah, 30% you'll prevent from coming in, but it's all going to keep coming in. If it's wet outside, it's going to be even worse. My suggestion for that is, if you really want to keep the van clean, get washable rugs.
Yeah.
If you're building your van and you get the flooring, even if you have like what I have, which is like just the roll of vinyl flooring that looks like wood, get something that's going to be easy to clean up. You can just wipe it down. You can take a baby wipe and clean it up. Cool.
Yeah.
Carpeting is going to be rough, but I do have a runner in here that's the length of the van. And I have a few of them so that I can switch them out when they need to get cleaned.
Yep.
And you just throw them in the wash. It's like $3 or $4 to wash one or two, and I throw it in with the other laundry, and it's not a big deal. And then I always have like a couple backups just in case accidents happen. But if it's really, really muddy, you can just get a couple sheets at the thrift store. Like, always keep a couple just flat sheets, oversized, queen or king size, to throw over your bed, to throw over your seat, to throw on the ground. Because as you come in and out of the sandy and dirty and muddy places, that you can just throw that down and you won't care. If you're worried about aesthetics, okay, that sucks. But really, just put a sheet down on stuff so that your dog doesn't ruin it.
Yep.
Or what you have is a blanket that you can wash because you know that that's their spot and they're going to do that. Look at this guy.
He's out like a trout. Look at him. Gunner's asleep down below. Gunner's down below me.
Babies.
They're tired. It's hard work being a van life dog.
It's hard work. It's a lot, especially when you don't like being in van all day. He doesn't like it. So this is like dissociating for him.
Yeah.
I'll just sleep. I will sleep. Because if he sits over there, he wants to go out, and I have to keep telling him, no, you got to wait. And he's like, well, fine.
He's like, I'm just going to go to bed.
And I've seen some dirty kids out there and rainbow and all that, like really crusty people that don't take care of their dogs. And because they don't go to the vet on time, or because they're out in the national forest and they're not really considering like a first aid kit for their dog or like health care for their dog,
Well, we
they
had
end up
a
getting really sick and they'll die overnight.
we
They'll
had
die
a
over
really
a day.
big TikToker that I guess considers himself a dirty kid, and they admitted boldly and proudly that they never gave their dog heartworm, and then a bunch of their followers were like bandwagoning like, yeah, we've never given our dogs heartworm. But his dog was really sick and he was live streaming for like at least a week. The dog was
It was the
declining.
whole week that dog was sick, sick, sick. I mean, looked like
Green snot,
possessed
super
all
red
over his
eyes,
face.
not
He wasn't
eating.
cleaning him up. And then like after the dog passed, which it's a whole nother story about what the vet said and that story, but when the dog passed, it was just another ploy to get money from people. It was, but he couldn't afford to take it to the vet sooner, but he could afford to get a tattoo of the dog's name, right? After it happened from everyone who donated after the dog passed. So made sure to film himself crying and his girlfriend crying over, like dramatically, over dramatically. Like, I know it's horrible when you lose a dog, but like you could have saved him. Limited pet friendly national parks or attractions. This is a big one. A lot of the national parks have pet friendly trails. Some of them don't. Absolutely none, unless you're an emotional support or a service animal.
Yeah.
Your dog can't be in the park.
Same with beaches in Florida.
Understandable. Their poop kind of disrupts the environment, the balance of everything. I honestly think people mess it up even more.
Yeah, for sure.
But the fact is, people don't usually take care of their dogs' poop, and they leave it there, and it messes up the environment for the rest of the animal. It scares off the fauna. It screws up the flora. So respect that, and also understand that you're going to be making those sacrifices.
When we lived in Florida, as soon as we started living in a vehicle or doing van life, we almost never went to the beach because the main beaches aren't dog friendly. You cannot have a dog. Oh yeah, in Florida you can't have your dogs on the beach. No.
It's so messed up because it's more their earth than it is ours.
They don't. There's like dog friendly beaches here and there, but once again, my dog hates other dogs. So taking him to a beach where there's a bunch of dogs off leash would be a nightmare. No one would have a good time. So we never went to the beach hardly ever, even though I lived in St. Pete. Like, I lived at the beach. I could never go to the beach because we couldn't bring him. And I'm not leaving him in a car that it's 80 degrees outside, which means it's over 100 degrees in the van. And I'm not leaving him in a hot car to go to the beach. Like, are you insane? So we never went to the beach except for we would have to get a dog-friendly hotel. Now, I already told you last time, the one dog-friendly hotel was amazing, and we could leave Gunner in the room, and he was fine. He's not a barker. He just lays there and sleeps. So we could go to the beach when we did that. But interestingly enough, and I thought this was ridiculous, we got a beach hotel. It was like right across from the beach, and it was dog-friendly, and it was like family ran, but they were kind of nutty. And they had this policy where you couldn't leave your dog unattended in the hotel room, but
I've seen that a few times. I think like hotel Holiday Inns and Motel 6.
Yeah, but the whole thing that didn't make sense to me is that it's a pet-friendly hotel right at the beach, but the beach isn't pet-friendly, so obviously people are getting the pet-friendly hotel at the beach to leave their dog at the hotel so they can walk across the street to the beach. We still ended up leaving him alone in there because, like I said, he doesn't bark, and they didn't say anything. But I was just like, yeah, I just paid $178 a night for this. I'm leaving my dog in here.
Yeah, that's the least you can do. Yeah.
It was actually probably closer to $300 now that I think about it, because it was right across from the beach. The hotels in Florida, even if they're like old and run down, if you're across the street from the beach or on the beach, it's like starts at like $300 a night.
Wow.
Yeah, so you want to go to Florida? Be my guest. You better bring some money with you.
Yep. Yeah, so there's options for when you get into something like that. There's kennels. There's a lot of doggy daycares. Do your research, read the customer reviews. Definitely don't go for anything under 4 stars at least, because and that they have reviews, at least 100. And then there's also a couple of apps called Bring Fido or Fido, something like that.
Bring Fido.
I know there's other ones. I should have written all this down. I'm sorry, guys. We'll put them in the caption.
Put them in the description. We talked about it last time too.
These apps, they offer like dog walking services. They'll come and pick up your dog and like bring it to a facility or whatever for a little while, like definitely do your reviews. And like if you're going to choose a certain person, like read what everyone else has wrote about them or written about them. But there's all kinds of apps that you can use to take care of your dog for a few hours at a time, up to like a whole day, even overnight. You can find different places. A lot of vets have overnight boarding facilities. It's not cheap. But there are other kennels that, you know, they have like doggy daycare where like the dog is mostly outside playing in the pool for most of the day. Sparrow has one in Flagstaff that I will rave about. I'll put the link in the caption below.
I have a good one too in Florida.
Yes, we'll put these down there, you guys.
Because Gunner's dog reactive, so a lot of places won't take him, obviously. But this place is amazing. He had his own private hotel room, and then they would take him outside privately on his own. They would play with him out there, and they were so good with him because a lot of places don't want to deal with a dog reactive dog because they don't want to have to mitigate special time or fighting with the other dogs. So it does suck a dog like Gunner can't do doggy daycare because that would not be fun for him or safe for the other dogs. But I have paid a pretty penny to put him in that individual bedroom dog hotel because he's
He
out
has
of
like his own run and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sparrow's place, they have a pool, and
That's
like
awesome.
the dogs are every time I tell him I don't really want to wake him up, but if I say the K word, I go to doggy daycare. No, he's really tired, I guess.
He's over it.
He was having fun this morning chasing lizards, but he loves it there. He can't wait to go back. Like it's his favorite thing. It's really affordable. You can do like a $20 half day, which is more than what you'd pay for less than what you'd pay for a babysitter for your kids for a few hours. Like it's pretty affordable. $40 for a whole day.
Yeah, babysitters are $20 an hour now.
An hour,
for humans.
Yeah. Maybe we should start babysitting.
No.
Nope. But
no, thank you.
They, you know, he has a blast. He loves to go. The second we roll up in the parking lot, he's like, "Oh my God, where are my friends' plays?" And when I come get him, he's like, "Oh, I really don't want to leave yet." And he's wet and he's covered in filth and he's just had so much fun. And I'm like, cool. Also, I want to say this about doggy daycare. Some of them have self-administering vaccines that are super cheap and you can do it there in the lobby. I think it was kennel cough. There was, I wish I could remember. I probably have it somewhere. But he got a nasal vaccine that you just spray in his nose.
Oh, Gunner's done that.
And we did it right in the kennel and it was like $12 right in the lobby. And they're like, "We're going to have you do it because legally we can't, like, you can do it though." And I was like, okay, cool. Because you can't stay here without this vaccination. And so you just boop and give your dog a treat and they're fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. It's really cheap. It's super easy. And then they're good for like a year. They also give you like rabies shots. Like that's a little, I would rather.
I've never done that.
I'm not a phlebotomist, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I've never given Gunner his own shots.
Those options are there if you're on a budget and you know what you're doing. Like, go for it. You have those.
I don't like needles.
I don't either. But if you don't have the money and you're looking for
it's good.
Go for it. Yeah,
that's good.
Yep. But you're going to have to make some sacrifices. That's just the bottom line. We stated this in the last episode about this, and we will drive it home again. That you will have to make sacrifices for traveling with your dog, and like it pays for itself. Trust me. And the companionship and the protection and the sharing that experience with an animal is just next level intimacy. Like it's probably better than being with a human. You know what I mean? Like sharing those moments because like you get to see them in their world just so happy and they get just as excited as you do about seeing new places. Trust me.
Gunner loved camping this weekend. That's his happy place. Gunner, as soon as we pulled into the Pisgah National Forest, he knew where we were. We pulled into the campsite because we had camped there before, and he was so like freaking out. And he just likes to sunbathe. We pull out the awning and put his blanket out, and he wants to sunbathe, and he watches us cook. We went down to the river. He got in the river with us.
Good boy.
So he's KO'd right now because he's exhausted from the weekend.
I bet. I bet.
But I think that if it's going to be a hassle to you and if this seems like too much work, maybe just even owning a pet at that point isn't for you, because even if you live in a home, you're doing the vaccines, you're probably having to do doggy daycare. When you go on vacation as a regular person that lives in a home or an apartment, you're either kindling them or paying for a dog sitter. So like, I don't know, like having an animal can be a lot of work, and if it's not worth it to you, then maybe you're just not an animal lover, and I don't like you and I don't trust you.
Yeah, hey, we got to say it, guys. Like, if you can't take care of your dog like you would take care of your child or yourself, and if you can't do either of that, then really think twice about getting an animal. Because, like, I see people that, like, yeah, no, no, I had to come to that realization too. I talked about this in the last episode. I almost gave up my dog to a friend of mine when I started traveling. And it was going to be a great experience because they were hunters and they already had a dog with the same breed that would have taught him how to hunt. Would have been great, but got sick really quick, and I had to go and figure out what I was going to do with Dutch. And I decided just to take him with me and see how it went. And the first day, I knew I had made the right decision to bring him. Just sharing that drive and that looking at the White Mountains together, and him just being like, wow, like looking at me like, is this really is a fun thing, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you don't know, try it first, but don't give up your dog into, a shelter or something just to do van life. Don't do that. If you have someone who's ready to watch them, like a friend or family member, cool. But if you're going to like flood the shelters because you want to go off and have your freedom, no, you already made the choice to adopt a dog or to purchase a dog or however you got the dog. Like, that's your family member now. You made a commitment. Don't go back on that.
That's that.
Sparrow threw up. I think it was like the first 2 weeks that I had him, I went down a very windy mountain road in Oregon right after I had fed him, which is totally my fault. And you see his legs on the back of the bed. I'm lucky I don't have a dog that gets motion sickness.
Same.
Some dogs have a really hard time with it.
Mm-hmm.
And either they'll get over it or you have to give them like puppy Dramamine, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. My friend had to give her dog anti-anxiety medication just to drive it to the vet twice a year. Like, it couldn't even be in the car to run errands.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if something like pet CBD would help with that.
Yeah. Well, the dog has since passed. It was her older dachshund. She got a new dachshund. The problem was they never socialized it. It was like it was her dachshund, but it basically became her parents' dachshund, and it never left the house. It was it was a homebody dog. So when they took it in public, it just like freaked out because it was just used to never leaving home. Yeah. So this dog, she's socializing. It goes to doggy daycare. She takes it kayaking. Because she wants this dog to be able to go in public without having anxiety.
And I honestly think like I don't know. I did have a dog that like used to drool a lot, but I think them being in the front of the van makes a huge difference for some reason. When they can see the horizon and they can look out the window, they feel a lot happier, especially if and obviously the winter, you can't always do this, but if there's an open window, the fresh air really does help them. From someone who used to get motion sickness as a kid, I know it's very important to have that like front view.
How do you feel about some people are sticklers about crating their dogs during travel? Other people just let their dogs ride in the front seat. I don't know.
I think you definitely have to work with your dog if it's going to be around the van while you're driving. I don't buckle my dog in. I buckle my seatbelt. I'm probably going to get some hate for this in the comments, but there's really no way that I can secure my dog because my van didn't come with a front seat. My last van didn't have a front seat either. He's got his like solid spots where he knows where to be when he's riding in the van. Dutch used to like to lay down on the bed. Sparrow, not so much. He did in the last van, but for some reason in this van, well, he also liked to look out the window, but he didn't care either way. On this van, there's just nowhere I don't know. He doesn't like to be back there. And I think it's because the van is longer and it gives him a different feeling when he's riding. Because I know when I'm in a bigger vehicle and I'm way in the back, I get sicker easier.
Yeah. Yeah, you get thrown around a little bit more. Gunner, we have a bench seat in the front, so there's no way for Gunner to be in the front seat with us. There's not really room for him in the front seat with us. But he likes to just look out the window. He stands up the whole time. He will not rest. So if we do longer road trips, he wears himself out because he will stand up and look out the window the entire time the vehicle is moving.
Right. Yep.
He insists.
Yeah, he insists. Yeah, Sparrow's that way too. He'll lay down and like try to go to sleep, but like he just can't. He's just like his head's always up. He's like this.
There's too much going on.
Yeah. And in a bigger vehicle, yeah, he moves around a little bit. I wouldn't be opposed to creating my animals, especially if they were all over the place. You can always make a spot for them right under the bed. There, lots of people crate there. I mean, I could put a crate up front where like he could sit on top or be attached within or whatever. I do think it's probably a safer bet, and I know I'm probably taking a risk.
Yeah.
Not having my dog buckled in.
Same.
I have never buckled my dogs in ever. And yeah, we try not to think about that. I also drive like a grandmother, but it could be anyone else who like plowed into me.
It's always other people cutting us off, doing crazy stuff.
Yep. It's definitely something to think about. That you have to make that decision on your own. I'm not going to shame you if you don't, because I don't. I'm also not going to like shame you if you do. I just don't think Sparrow or any of my dogs that I've had in the van would be happy in a crate while we were driving.
No, Gunner would freak out.
Yeah, I think that they would be far more anxious and motion sick if they were. So I know a lot of people have had, not a lot, but I know a couple people who, you know, they've had a dog and the dog was able to escape because it wasn't buckled up.
And that's the other thing. It's like, it's nice to have a crate.
They can't unbuckle themselves like we can.
Well, yeah, it's nice to have a crate if like stuff goes flying around or the van flips, but at the same time, the dog can't escape. So I guess there's pros and cons. Let us know in the comments, like, are you pro dog seatbelt? Are you pro crating your dog while you're driving? Or are you pro letting them do their thing?
Give us some good points, because maybe you'll change our minds. Like if there's a way to make our dogs safe, even in this space, I'm looking around, right? Like I'm racking my brain, like how can I make this work in it?
Yeah. I mean, I just know that Gunner would freak out. Like if he can't move around while we're driving, he's going to lose his mind. So and I don't know.
He needs to have access to his water too. And like, sure, you could put water in a crate, but like he's just going to spill it everywhere, and it's going to be
it's going to go everywhere.
And I don't think there's really a way to keep it from spilling if it's in the crate. And outside of the crate, he's got like this bowl. It's bowlception, bowl within a bowl.
Mm-hmm. That's
so
smart.
If the middle one sloshes around, it catches on the outside.
That's smart.
Yeah. I just don't think he would be happy. There's times where like the van goes over really big bumps and he gets scared.
Yeah.
And he comes right up and wants to be by my side. And even when he's in the front looking out the side window, the passenger side window, there's still times where like things are shaking in the van and he's like, oh my God. And he wants to be right by my side.
Mm-hmm.
And I could keep him buckled right by my side, but I don't think that would be safe for either of us. I really don't. If something happened to him, like my first dog, Leo, got hit by a car. And when we went to go scoop him up, he passed almost immediately. But before that, he was in shock, and so was everyone else. And we went to scoop him up and put him in the back of the truck to bring him right to the vet. And dogs have this like instinct to attack if they're in pain and dying or whatever. Like they'll bite you, you'll get bit. And I think if something were to happen in the van and we got in an accident and Sparrow was hooked to me or right up next to me, I know how he is when he's sleeping. Like he doesn't like to be touched. He has little spots on his body that are no-nos, big no. And he trusts me to touch them, but if anyone else touched him, he would shred them. And so I just don't feel like he would have a fighting chance at that point. Like, and neither would I. I think it would be more dangerous for the both of us. But I'm willing to hear if you guys have other options. I would love to hear that in the comments, and I'm not opposed to it either way.
Maybe there's not like maybe there's not a definitive right or wrong. Maybe it depends on the dog.
Yeah. If you're going to stealth camp, you have to take your dog out before you get to the stealth camping place. Hands down. When you get there, you wait till it's after dark. Like, there's rules that I follow. Like, it's protocol. I don't want to bring attention to myself with my dog, without my dog at all. With the van, I just want to pull in all quiet, stay parked, and then sneak into the back, close everything up, and then just go into bed. Like, maybe I'll brush my teeth. Maybe I'll make a cup of tea, but I won't let my kettle whistle. I might watch a show, but I'm not going to put it on my Bluetooth speaker. I'm just going to do it nice and quiet, not bother anyone. I don't want to bring attention to myself. So if you're stealth camping, make sure you bring your dog out before you get to your stealth spot, and make sure they're not barkers.
That's a big one. If your dog is a barker, stealth camping is already just not going to be an option for you. So you're going to have to consider, you're going to have to be on BLM land, or you're going to have to pay for camping. But even camp spots have quiet hours. And if your dog is constantly barking, I don't know how people are going to take that.
No, Maple wasn't very good at being stealth.
Yeah, some dogs aren't.
And she wasn't good in the van at all. She hated the van. She tore everything up in the van. She scratched the windows. She almost broke the windows trying to get out. You know, she was an escape artist. And when I was driving, it was up and down and up and down. And I was like, you are driving me nuts.
That's not.
I ended up having to tie her to my seat so that she would calm down. And even then, she would climb into my lap, and I'm like, girl, stop, just lay down. And she did not want to. She was like, no. So
some dogs are not meant for it. I'm telling you right now.
Not for it. There are definitely breeds that can handle it better, and every dog has their own personality. Definitely try it out before you commit to it, or spend some commitment time working on training the dog to be chill in the van. Yeah, there are some campgrounds that won't allow you to have dogs. You're just gonna, that's okay. You're not allowed. That's fine. But there's plenty of campgrounds that do. Usually keep them on a leash. If you're gonna go into a BLM dispersed campsite, unless there's like a lot of room between the sites and your dog has really good recall and knows to stay around the van, and you're keeping an eye on them, don't let your dog off leash.
Yeah.
Do not let your dog go into others' campsites. You don't know if they have an unfriendly dog. You don't know if they have a gun. You don't know if they're mean, if they want to take your dog. If you give a crap about your dog, don't let it wander.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the whole leash / off leash thing. Pretty much all of the trails here, your dog is meant to be kept on leash. And that's not even just for other dogs. Like, we have black bears here and a bunch of wildlife. So they just don't want dogs interfering with the wildlife. It's also not really that safe for your dog. The bears and the dogs do not get along.
There's like busy boards. You can wrap treats in a towel, roll them up, and like give them something to do. You can give them like duck feet or chicken jerky or something to chew on. Just give them some kind of enrichment. The lick mats, the frozen lick mats, if you have a way to like keep things chilled. Some dogs like chewing on ice. I don't really suggest rawhide. I know that can do a number on their intestines, but like there's other things like the bully sticks are pretty good for them.
The snuffle mats, if you don't have a way to freeze anything, there's the lick mats and the snuffle mats, which you just like hide. Gunner has a treat puzzle even.
Yeah.
So those keep him entertained. I mean, we're predominantly outside, so he's always chilling.
If you can't lick them though, I think like sniffing can give them as much enrichment as like a nice long hike. You know, if you can only take them out every hour for like 5 minutes and let them sniff, do that, because that's what I just did with Sparrow while we took that technical difficulty break. Just 5-10 minutes outside, and he sniff, and then comes back in and is like, okay, I'm happy.
Recharged.
Yeah, that's all. And that can be enough. If you're in the city, that can be enough. You wanna wrap it up?
Yeah, sure. I think that the common misconception is, oh, these poor dogs, they're in a confined space. And much like ourselves, we are not spending the majority of our time in the van with the doors closed. We are hiking or camping or we're at a park. I do predominantly urban van life and I'm non nomadic, and me and my dog are predominantly outside for long periods of time during the day. I can work on my laptop outside, I can work on my phone outside. There is a dog park that I have access to that's more private. So Gunner can even go to that dog park and run around without other dogs. So, I would say van life dogs get more stimulation and more exercise and more experiences than a lot of dogs living in apartments or homes, at least from my experience.
I think so. I think you're absolutely right on that. I've had dogs that started. Dutch used to eat things in the van. He would eat everything. He got in the garbage. He would everything. And from being in a vehicle, he finally figured it out. Like, you know what? The food is all around me. I'm gonna get fed. I don't need to go scavenging for it. When we were outside, that was a different story. Boy, did he love dog poop, but he stuck into things. He was so well rounded socially. Sparrow's the same way. They love meeting other dogs. They love, I mean, not all dogs, but like they love meeting other people. I think Gunner's like that. He likes people.
Gunner loves meeting people. Gunner loves kids and elderly people specifically. But if anyone walks by our van, he wags his tail. He wants you to pet him. Like, he is a good tempered dog. It's just other dogs he doesn't like. So at least he's nice to other people.
That's okay, Gunner. I like dogs, but I don't particularly like other people.
Exactly. All right. Well, don't keep your doors locked.
Keep your doors locked. Always stay aware and listen
Listen for the knock.
for the knock.
All right.
Podcast.
Yeah.